The worst investment advice I've ever received is to not do a deal that I should have done. I was told not to invest in Facebook when Mark was at Harvard, and that was a mistake. I should have invested when Mark was looking for $30,000 when he was at Harvard, and that's now worth about $20 billion. That was a mistake.
It's more that I've given someone else the worst investment advice, which was my husband 15 years ago when he wanted to buy Bitcoin, and I told him that was the dumbest idea ever, and it didn't turn out to be.
I guess the worst investment advice was that diversification didn't matter. I think diversification always matters.
Worst investment advice I've ever heard is probably from one of my partners who shall remain nameless. This goes back about 30 years. About 30 years ago, I'd written a few things on what I think developed into statistical arbitrage, high frequency trading. And one of my partners convinced me that there's no chance it would ever cover transactions costs. It did, and a lot of people did really well. And I'm happy with how we've done. I'm not complaining, but that's my fish story. That's the one that got away.
Was Fannie and Freddie preferred stock. If I didn't own it, and everyone else owned it, then I would effectively be short because the benchmark of hedge fund managers was to own this. And if I didn't own it, I was just to be flat was to be short. And to me, this idea of following the conventional wisdom, doing what other people are doing, even if it's a good idea, you are not delivering value to your investors because you're providing something generic.